I'm just waiting for my ride. I've been watching you, Denise hissed. Always outside. Always messing with devices. Disgusting. I stepped outside immediately. Denise, I said, forcing calm. My daughter is diabetic. She's monitoring her blood sugar. Denise laughed. Diabetes? Please. That's the oldest excuse in the book. I know drug activity when I see it. That's insulin, I said firmly. It keeps her alive. Lena's monitor beeped again. Her stress was pushing her levels dangerously out of range. She reached for her insulin pen. Denise's face twisted with triumph. There it is, she screamed. Injecting drugs in broad daylight. I'm calling the police. That is medical treatment, I said. If you continue harassing her. You don't intimidate me, Denise snapped. I don't care that you're powerful. This neighborhood will be protected. She dialed 911 with shaking excitement. My name is Denise Harper. I'm reporting a teenage drug addict injecting herself while her father covers it up. Send officers immediately. Lena looked at me, tears welling. Dad, why does she hate me? I pulled her close. She doesn't hate you, I whispered. She hates what she doesn't understand. But Denise wasn't finished. This ends today, she said coldly. I didn't know yet that this moment would end her entire career. 2 police cruisers arrived within minutes. Officers Reynolds and Kim stepped out, cautious but confused. Ma'am, you reported drug activity? Officer Reynolds asked. Yes, Denise said smugly. She's been injecting illegal substances all morning. Lena sat quietly on the porch, pale but composed. I'm diabetic, she said softly. I had a low blood sugar episode. Officer Kim examined her insulin pump and glucose monitor. These are legitimate medical devices, he said. Denise snatched Lena's medical ID from his hand. Fake, she spat. Rich people fake disabilities all the time. That's enough, Officer Reynolds said sharply. But Denise wasn't done. She lunged forward and grabbed Lena's insulin pump, trying to rip it from her body. I'm confiscating this drug equipment. Lena screamed. Her monitor shrieked. Officer Kim reacted instantly. Ma'am, step back now. Denise resisted. That single act changed everything. Lena collapsed moments later as her blood sugar plummeted. Paramedics were called. Instead of apologizing, Denise doubled down. She overdosed, she told them. I warned you. At the hospital, Lena stabilized. Denise was arrested. Not for drugs. For assault, false police reporting, and disability harassment. The story exploded. News outlets picked it up nationwide. An HOA chairwoman arrested after attacking a diabetic teen. What they didn't know yet was who her father really was. 3 weeks later, the courtroom wasn't just full, it was suffocating. Every bench was occupied. Reporters lined the walls. Camera crews whispered behind tripods. What began as a neighborhood dispute had transformed into a national conversation about medical ignorance, abuse of power, and disability discrimination. Denise Harper walked in alone. No attorney at her side. She had fired her first public defender after accusing him of being too sympathetic to drug users. The second lasted less than a week before she claimed he was part of a broader conspiracy designed to protect fake medical patients. I trust my own research, Denise had told the press confidently. That decision would destroy her. When the judge asked if she wished to proceed without counsel, Denise stood tall. Yes, Your Honor. I'm more than capable of defending myself. The prosecutor exchanged a brief glance with his team. He didn't smile. He didn't need to. When Denise took the stand, she looked pleased, almost smug. She adjusted the microphone, scanned the audience, and spoke as if addressing a homeowners meeting rather than a criminal court. I was protecting my neighborhood from criminal behavior, she said. That has always been my duty as HOA chairwoman. The prosecutor approached slowly, his voice measured. Mrs. Harper, are you aware that type 1 diabetes is a recognized, lifelong medical condition? Denise scoffed loudly enough for the microphones to catch it. So-called diabetes, she replied. I've done extensive research. It's exaggerated. People use it for attention and special treatment. A murmur rippled through the gallery. Parents of diabetic children shifted in their seats. A woman in the second row covered her mouth. The prosecutor paused, letting the silence stretch. What medical training do you have, Mrs. Harper? Denise straightened her shoulders. I don't need medical training. I'm trained to recognize suspicious behavior. I've served as HOA chairwoman for 5 years. There it was. The prosecutor nodded, as if waiting for exactly that answer. So your HOA training qualifies you to override doctors, prescriptions, and emergency medical responses. Common sense does, Denise replied sharply. And I know drug use when I see it. Gasps echoed through the courtroom. The judge leaned forward slightly. That was when I stood. The room stilled. The judge recognized me immediately and gave a small nod. For the record, I said calmly, I serve on the federal bench. The effect was instant. Denise's confidence shattered. The color drained from her face as realization slammed into her. Her mouth opened slightly, then closed. For the first time since her arrest, she looked afraid. The prosecutor didn't gloat. He didn't need to. He simply continued. You accuse a minor with a documented medical disability of criminal drug use. You filed multiple false reports. You interfered with emergency medical care. The shrill alarm from the glucose monitor shattered the silence at 6:27 a.m. I knew that sound instantly. After 16 years of living with my daughter's condition, I could tell the difference between a routine alert and an emergency, even in my sleep. This wasn't a reminder. This was danger. Lena, I called out, already out of bed. I'm low, she answered weakly. It's dropping fast. I rushed into her room and saw her sitting on the edge of the bed, pale, hands trembling as she struggled to open her glucose tablets. Her continuous glucose monitor flashed 62, 59, 56. Okay, sweetheart. 3 tablets. Slow breaths, I said, steadying her hands. This was our life. Type 1 diabetes didn't care about mornings, school days, or exhaustion. It never rested. Neither did we. Lena had been diagnosed at 7 years old after collapsing during recess. Her blood sugar had been over 600. The doctor later told me another hour could have killed her. Since then, our lives revolved around insulin doses, carb counts, alarms, and the constant fear that one mistake could turn fatal. By 7 a.m., her levels finally stabilized. I'll wait outside for Mia, Lena said, slinging her backpack over her shoulder. I'll keep checking. I nodded. Sit on the porch. Call me if it dips again. She sat on the front steps of our home, well within our property line, phone in one hand, glucose monitor app open. That's when Denise Harper appeared. Get away from my fence. Her voice sliced through the calm morning like a siren. I looked out the window and felt my stomach drop. Oil. Denise Harper. The one. Self-appointed neighborhood police. A woman who treated bylaws like holy scripture and neighbors like criminals. She marched toward Lena, eyes locked on her insulin pump with open disgust. What do you think you're doing? Denise snapped, lurking around with that equipment. I'm on my property, Lena replied quietly, not looking up. And you physically assaulted her by attempting to remove life-sustaining medical equipment. Is that correct? Denise swallowed hard. I was trying to help, she muttered. By grabbing an insulin pump? The prosecutor asked. Silence. The judge's voice was cold. The jury will disregard the defendant's opinion-based claims. Deliberation didn't take long. When the verdict was read, guilty on all counts, Denise collapsed back in her chair. The judge delivered the sentence with clinical precision, outlining the charges. False reporting, harassment of a minor, assault, and discrimination against a protected class. As the gavel fell, Denise finally understood the truth she had ignored from the beginning. She hadn't exposed corruption. She hadn't protected anyone. She hadn't enforced rules. She had attacked a sick child, and she had chosen the worst possible father to challenge.
The story's over. Now let's get real. Imagine standing there on all that land, every inch legally yours. If you were in the owner's shoes, what would you do? Let them stay, sell the homes, or pull some other wild move? Drop your answer in the comments and let's see who's the boldest.